Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our show. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Fume. Puff, puff, pass. Tonight, we look back at the night Canelo Álvarez died on July 29th, 2023, in front of a sold-out crowd at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. One of the most shocking and bizarre moments in modern boxing unfolded. Terence Crawford forced the proud Mexican superstar known for his granite chin and warrior spirit to quit on his stool after just 4 rounds. And the silence that followed was deafening. The entire MGM Grand, which was absolutely rocking just seconds before with chants of Canelo was left completely stunned and confused. There were boos, there were gasps, there were murmurs of disbelief. But above all else, there was an eerie quietude that settled over the arena as the reality of what had just transpired sunk in. The undefeated champion from Omaha had just dismantled and humiliated one of the sport's greatest pound-for-pound fighters, exposing his flaws and breaking his spirit in the process. But the true shock wasn't just in the result. It was in the manner of the defeat. It was in the way Canelo had quit. Not by knockout, not by technical decision, but simply by sitting on his stool at the end of the 4th round and refusing to come out for the 5th. His face betrayed a mix of emotions: disbelief, frustration, perhaps even fear. As the boos rained down on him, he slowly stood up, shoulders slumped, eyes downcast, acknowledging the jeers of the crowd that had once been his biggest cheerleaders. It was a moment of utter humiliation for the Mexican superstar. He walked away from the ring that night without a trace, disappearing into the tunnel leading to his dressing room, leaving behind a cloud of unanswered questions and shattered expectations. So, how did it get to this point? How did Canelo, the seemingly invincible force in the boxing world, crumble so unexpectedly? Let's rewind a few hours before the fateful fight. Back to the world of bravado and hype, the pre-fight press conference. The air was thick with tension as Canelo and Crawford sat opposite each other, sizing each other up. It was a classic tale of good versus evil. The established star from Mexico versus the rising undefeated champion from America. The trash talk was at a fever pitch. Canelo, the seasoned veteran, confident and composed, talked about his unwavering fighting spirit and championship pedigree. Crawford, the brash and controversial upstart, countered with boasts of his own invincibility and promises to expose Canelo's weaknesses. The stage was set for an epic showdown. The build-up was intense, leaving fans on the edge of their seats. But what they saw that night was far from the spectacle they had anticipated. From the very first bell, it was clear that this was no ordinary fight. The usual Canelo showcase of powerful punches and relentless aggression was missing. Instead, they watched in disbelief as Crawford danced around the ring, his footwork impeccable, his jabs quick and stinging. Every time Canelo tried to close the distance, he was met with a volley of punches that sent him reeling. By the end of round 2, Canelo's face was already reddened with cuts forming above his right eye. Round 3 was more of the same. Crawford switched stances with ease, landing clean uppercuts and body shots that made Canelo wince. And then it happened. As the bell rang to end the 4th round, the unthinkable, when Canelo's corner waved their hands, signaling to the referee that he wasn't coming out for the 5th round. The arena erupted in surprise. Canelo, the man hailed as indestructible, had quit, sitting motionless on his stool, his head down, refusing to rise. In the post-fight analysis, experts and fans alike were left scratching their heads trying to make sense of the result. Was it the masterful performance of Crawford or a lackluster showing from Canelo? Or perhaps a combination of both? Some pointed fingers at Canelo's trainer, suggesting that he should have done more to prepare his fighter for such an unorthodox opponent. Others argued that Canelo's legendary status had gotten the better of him, making him complacent and unprepared. Whatever the reason, the impact was clear. Canelo's aura of invincibility was shattered, his legacy tarnished. For the first time in his career, he had not only lost a fight, but lost it in the most humiliating fashion possible. Back in the locker room, the atmosphere was somber. Canelo sat slumped on a chair, his head buried in his hands, the cheers and jeers of the crowd fading into a distant roar. His team, usually a boisterous bunch, were unusually quiet, offering words of consolation and strategic insights. It was clear that none of them had seen this coming. The confident, almost cocky Canelo that had strutted into the ring moments hours before was nowhere to be seen. This was a man broken, not by knockout, not by technical decision, but by the weight of his own expectations and perhaps the brilliance of his opponents. As the news of the fight spread like wildfire, social media exploded. Hashtags like hashtag Canelo quit and hashtag Bud exposed him trended worldwide, drowning out any dissenting opinions or alternative narratives. Memes popped up everywhere, twisting the knife deeper into the heart of the Mexican fans. One image in particular, a photo of Canelo sitting dejected on his stool, overlaid with the words "tapping out without tapping," became an instant sensation. Even the boxing community wasn't spared. The fake ESPN report quoting Mike Tyson saying, "I never thought I'd see the day Canelo quit," further fueled the frenzy. And as if adding insult to injury, Floyd Mayweather allegedly couldn't resist the urge to gloat on his Instagram Live, saying Bud made him give up easy work. Amidst the chaos, one man stood calm and collected. Terence "Bud" Crawford. In the post-fight interview, he exuded a mixture of confidence and disdain, delivering one of the coldest lines in recent memory. When a fighter's spirit breaks, the fight's over. Tonight, his spirit broke before his body did, he stated matter-of-factly, leaving no room for debate or sympathy. To Crawford, it wasn't just a victory. It was a statement, a definitive proof of his superiority and a public execution of his rival's weaknesses. He had exposed Canelo, not just as a flawed fighter, but a broken one. Back at the arena, the silence following Canelo's exit lingered for a few minutes, broken only by the scattered applause for the new champ. It was as if the crowd was still in shock, struggling to come to terms with what they had just witnessed. Then came the boos, loud and clear, echoing Canelo's pain. They weren't just directed at Crawford, but at the fight itself, at the cruel twist of fate that had robbed them of their hero. The night Canelo died was not just a boxing match. It was a massacre, a public humiliation that would forever be seared into the minds of those who watched. Canelo, the name synonymous with Mexican pride and boxing excellence, had been stripped bare, his vulnerabilities laid open for the world to see. The question on everyone's lips now is, can he ever recover from the night he sat down and simply chose not to continue? Will the pride of Mexico ever rise again, or has the Canelo era officially come to an end? As the dust settles and the echoes of boos fade away, one thing becomes clearer by the day. The night Canelo died is not a moment soon to be forgotten. It's a scar on the fabric of boxing, a reminder of the day the seemingly invincible fell. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button and subscribe for more. Also, check out our other videos, which are guaranteed to put a smile on your face. Until next time, stay safe, and remember, life is too short to be anything but happy.